This story will make you rethink what a perfect family really means. A devoted mother and wife, the center of her family, but inside, she's silently battling loneliness. What seemed like a flawless life with a successful husband and a well-behaved son suddenly shatters when hidden secrets are exposed. Could a life so seemingly perfect fall apart so easily in just one unexpected moment? How did she deceive herself? And what were the consequences? These secrets can't stay hidden forever. Before continuing the story, tell me which city you are watching from. I want to know how far this video has come. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so I can send you exciting stories like this every day. I've always thought that I was a good person, a good mother, a good wife. After all, that's what we're supposed to be, right? In the eyes of the world, David and I were a picture-perfect couple. We've been married for over a decade. Our son, Ethan, was the center of our lives. We had the house, the car, the family dinners, everything anyone could ask for. But what no one knew was that underneath the surface, I was struggling. I was lonely, and I didn't know how to fill the empty space that had been growing inside me for years. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal. David was working long hours. He was always on his phone, always focused on something else. I'd get home from running errands, picking up Ethan from school, and the house would be eerily quiet. The house we'd once filled with laughter now felt cold and hollow. The intimacy between David and me had disappeared, replaced by exhaustion and distance. We barely spoke anymore. I started to tell myself that maybe it was just a phase. Maybe we were just getting older. But deep down, I knew something was wrong. I didn't expect it to happen when it did. It started out so innocently. A casual conversation at work. I had just switched departments, and David, a colleague, was assigned to help me get settled in. He was easy to talk to, patient, and surprisingly understanding. Over time, we started chatting more often. Please comment number 1 so that I can know that you liked the video and subscribe to our channel. Your support is a great inspiration and encouragement for us. Thank you very much. What began as work discussions turned into personal conversations. Our likes and dislikes, our families, even our dreams. David made me feel seen in ways that David hadn't in years. He paid attention to the little details, like how I liked my coffee or how I always carried a notebook with me. He was interested in me, and I found that thrilling. It was the kind of attention I hadn't realized I'd been craving for so long. One evening, after a long day of meetings, David suggested we grab a coffee together. It was nothing out of the ordinary, right? Just 2 colleagues grabbing a drink after work. But as we sat there, sipping our coffee, I felt a connection growing between us that I couldn't ignore. He laughed at my jokes, touched my arm lightly when I said something funny. It was harmless at first, just a little flirtation, nothing more. But as the weeks went by, the flirtation turned into something else, something I wasn't prepared for. I told myself it was just a harmless crush, that I was just having a little fun. I never expected it to go beyond that. But it did. It was a slow burn. Texts turned into late-night calls. He'd check in on me during the day, asking about my life, my day, my thoughts. And I responded not because I needed him, but because it felt good to feel wanted again. Slowly, I started to realize that I was hiding my interactions with him, deleting texts, turning my phone face down whenever David walked into the room. But even then, I convinced myself I wasn't doing anything wrong. I wasn't physically cheating. It was just emotional. But I knew deep down that I was crossing a line, and I didn't know how to stop myself. There came a moment when everything changed. David came home late, as usual, and I was lying in bed scrolling through my phone. David had sent me a message, and I was replying when I heard the front door creak open. My heart raced, and I quickly shoved my phone under the pillow. But it was too late. David walked into the room, his eyes narrowing as he glanced at the bed. There was a strange silence between us before he spoke. "You're up late," he said, almost absent-mindedly, as though he didn't really care anymore. It stung in a way that I couldn't explain. There was nothing in his voice, nothing in his gaze, that made me feel like he was even present. I nodded and turned off the light, hoping he wouldn't ask any more questions. But I knew that something had changed. Something in the air felt thick with unspoken words. Please pause for 2 seconds. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support is a great inspiration and encouragement for us. Thank you very much. The next day, I woke up to find David gone, off to work again. I went about my day as usual, but something gnawed at me. I had this feeling that he knew. Maybe he didn't have all the details, but he could feel the distance between us. I didn't want to admit it, but deep down I knew I was too far gone. And then came the moment that shattered everything. It was just a normal afternoon. Ethan had come home from school and I was sitting on the couch when he walked in. His eyes locked on me and I felt this strange unease stir inside me. He didn't say anything at first, but his eyes seemed to carry this weight that made my stomach turn. I wasn't sure if he'd seen something, heard something, or if he just knew. But in that moment, I realized that my son, the one person I'd always promised to protect, to be there for, had noticed. I didn't want to believe it, but the look in his eyes said it all. "Mom," he said quietly, his voice trembling ever so slightly. "Who were you talking to last night? I heard you on the phone." It wasn't an accusation, but it cut deeper than anything I had ever felt before. I froze. My heart skipped a beat. I was talking to a friend, I stammered, hoping he'd buy the excuse. But Ethan wasn't stupid. He was too smart for that. He looked at me, his brow furrowing, and for a second I thought I saw a glimpse of hurt flash in his eyes. It was a look I had never wanted to see from him. My heart shattered in that instant. He didn't say anything else. He just turned and walked away, retreating to his room. The silence that followed felt like a 1,000-pound weight pressing on my chest. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I knew that I had just broken something that might never be fixed. That night, I tried to talk to Ethan. I knocked on his door, my voice cracking as I tried to apologize. "Ethan, please," I pleaded. "I know I've made mistakes, but I didn't mean to hurt you. Please talk to me." But Ethan didn't open the door. He didn't even respond. The silence between us was deafening. And in that moment, I realized something I hadn't wanted to admit. My son was angry with me. He didn't trust me anymore, and I had no one to blame but myself. The next morning, I woke up to find a note from Ethan. It was simple, short, and it tore my heart into pieces. It read, "I don't want to see you like this. I don't want you to be my mom anymore." The words hit me like a punch to the gut. My son, the person I had loved and protected for years, no longer wanted anything to do with me. He didn't want it to be around the woman I had become, the woman who had betrayed his trust, the woman who had been living a lie. I felt a sickening wave of guilt and shame wash over me. I had done the unthinkable, and now I was paying the price. I tried to find him. I called his friends, his grandparents, anyone who might know where he went. When I finally found him sitting alone on a park bench, I thought for a moment that I could fix it. I thought I could apologize, explain myself, and maybe, just maybe, he would forgive me. But when I sat down next to him and looked into his eyes, I knew that I couldn't take back what I had done. Ethan didn't say anything at first. He just stared straight ahead, avoiding my gaze. I tried to reach for his hand, but he pulled away. His eyes, so full of confusion and pain, burned into me. "I can't be your mom anymore, Mom," he whispered. "I don't trust you. You lied to me." The words were like a knife to my heart. I had lost him, and I didn't know how to get him back. The days that followed were a blur. David found out eventually, though it wasn't easy. He was hurt, angry, and distant, but he didn't leave. He stayed, not because he had forgiven me, but because he didn't know how to walk away. I knew he was only staying for Ethan's sake, and that thought alone made me feel even more worthless. I had broken my family, and there was nothing I could do to fix it. Months have passed since that day, and things haven't really improved. Ethan still won't talk to me the way he used to. The distance between us feels like a chasm, and every time I try to bridge it, I only seem to push him further away. This feeling is overwhelming, as if I'm trying to pull everything back together, but the more I try, the more I realize that the wounds I've caused can't be easily healed. Every time I look into Ethan's eyes, I only see coldness and distance. He's no longer the child I once understood and loved unconditionally. And I ask myself, will I ever be able to earn back his trust? Will our relationship ever be the same again, like it used to be when we were a happy family? I don't know. I can't imagine life without my son beside me. But the truth is, I've broken everything myself. and the pain from this will stay with me for the rest of my life. I can't forget the days when my son looked at me with disappointment like a stranger. Those sleepless nights, tossing and turning, thinking about the mistakes I made and wondering if there was any chance to fix them. But it seems that every time I try to talk, it only makes things worse. The feeling is indescribable, as if I'm trying to mend something that's been shattered for far too long. Even though I may never regain Ethan's trust, even though our relationship may never be the same again, I have to live with this pain. The price of betrayal isn't something that can be changed just by saying sorry or promising to do better. The truth is, once you cross a line, once you betray the people who love you most, there's no going back. You can try to fix it, you can regret it, but sometimes the damage is too much to heal. And the people you've hurt, they may never forgive you. I know this. I've felt the estrangement from my son, from the one person I once believed would always be by my side, loving me unconditionally. And now I have to live with that, with mistakes that can never be undone, with pain and regret that can never be erased. If you're reading this, I hope you learned something from my mistakes. Because once you cross a line, once you betray the people who love you, there's no going back. You can try to fix it, but sometimes the damage is too much. And the people you hurt, they may never forgive you. Think carefully before you act, because the things you never thought could happen might just change your life forever. If I could go back, I would do everything differently. I wouldn't let misplaced emotions guide me to make the wrong decisions. I wouldn't have lost my son's trust, the one person I loved more than anything else. If I could go back, I would spend more time with my family, talk more, and listen to the small things I missed. I would have noticed the signs that I didn't see, the changes in my husband's mood, and I would have done everything I could to keep the love in our family intact. If I could go back, I would be the mother my son needed, not the woman I became in these past months. But I can't go back. Time doesn't rewind, and what's happened is beyond my control. It's all in the past now. All I can do is hope. Hope that someday, somehow, Ethan will look at me and see the mother he once knew, the woman who loved him with all her heart. Hope that someday he will understand that I made mistakes I can't undo, but I still love him, still want to start over, still hope for a chance to regain his trust and love. I just don't know if that day will ever come. Will my son ever forgive me? Will he ever look at me and see the mother he once loved and trusted? I don't know. I can't predict the future. Every day that passes, I feel the distance between us growing, and every time I try to bridge the gap, I only feel him slipping further away. The times I try to explain, try to apologize, only seem to make things harder, as if I'm trying to mend a wound that's already too deep. That question haunts me every day, and I don't have the answer. Will my son ever look at me like he used to? Will he forgive me, and will we be able to heal the wounds I've caused? I don't know. I can't say when or if that day will come. So much has changed already. What I've done, the mistakes I've made, can't be undone. But I still hold on to a small hope that one day Ethan will look at me and remember the mother he once loved, the mother who always tried to do the best for him, and even though I made serious mistakes. And even if that never happens, I'll still hold on to hope. Hope is all I have left. Hope that one day my son will forgive me, will see me the way he used to, that the distance between us will disappear, that the gap we have now won't remain. But I also know that in some cases, hope is not enough. Some wounds may never heal, and maybe I'll have to live with my mistakes forever. But I won't give up on hope. In the end, this story is not just about love and betrayal. It's a deep lesson about trust, regret, and the tough decisions we must face in life. Every action, every word in a relationship can have unforeseen consequences, and sometimes things we think are harmless can tear everything apart. This woman's story is a powerful reminder of the strength of trust in family and the price we pay when we lose them. The pain she endures is not the end of her story, but a journey of seeking redemption and hoping that someday things might be healed. However, this story is also not a tragic conclusion, but a warning to all of us that in every relationship, honesty, trust, and care are the strong foundations needed to build a happy family. We all make mistakes, but what matters is learning from them and changing so we never repeat them. This story doesn't just reflect a family tragedy, but also opens up issues that we could all face in our lives. We can easily fall into the trap of deceit, neglect, and even dishonesty in the closest relationships we hold dear. But these moments are also opportunities to reflect on ourselves and realize that, although things might seem bad, instead of giving up, we have the power to stand up and fix our mistakes. This story also serves as a reminder that each of us is responsible for the choices we make in life. Maintaining trust, honesty, and care for our loved ones are the essential elements needed to keep lasting relationships intact. In fact, these relationships will help us overcome any challenge and hardship in life. However, sometimes mistakes that can't be fixed bring us the most valuable lessons about the importance of trust and love. If you find this story meaningful and want to hear more insightful stories about life, relationships, and the lessons we can learn, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel today. Our channel not only offers valuable stories, but also provides guidance and support to help you overcome life's challenges. Hit the subscribe button so you never miss any of our videos, and feel free to share this story to spread the message of trust and love within every family. We sincerely thank you for watching, and we hope you will continue this journey with us to discover more priceless life lessons. Every story is a great lesson, and we hope that through our channel, you will find the motivation to change, live better, and never lose trust in the important things in life. Once again, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to exploring more inspiring stories and meaningful lessons with you in the future.